Hello and welcome to an all-new Marvel cast, Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Cronarch and Hector Batista. My name's Ashley Hobley, the Explosion Network's cosmic superfan. Joining me today is Ultimate Ciaran Marchant.
Bana, 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 na 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 na. I didn't know we were talking about the big Dave Batista here. Hi.
Hector Batista.
Oh.
Little brother.
Oh. I see.
And also joining us is Dylan Blight.
Talking about sports entertainers.
Jesus. Alright. Start things off. If you've watched Thor Love and Thunder, we have a spoiler cast up on this all new Marvel cast podcast feed. You should go listen to it. I can guarantee the only Thor Love and Thunder spoiler cast in which Michael Myers is brought up in the first 5 minutes. Okay. Absolutely positive.
Not even like the correct name. I said the wrong.
It's like we start talking about Shrek just so randomly. It's very weird.
No, we didn't talk about Shrek. But today we're talking about the latest episode of Ms. Marvel, episode 5, Time and Again, directed by Sharmeen, Obaid-Chinoy, written by Fatimah Azhar. The bangle reveals to Kamala secrets about her family lineage, as well as the truth behind the veil. Dylan, what do you think of this week's episode of Ms. Marvel?
I really liked it. I thought it was really, really good. I think the sort of back history into Kamala's family was quite interesting. I feel like this is going to be a love it or hate it episode, because like Kamala is like only in it after the halfway point. And it is an entire flashback episode with characters that aren't really superheroes, and there's not much superhero stuff going on. However, as far as like a historical point of view, I thought it was like an event that's not really portrayed in much of media and stuff. I thought that was really cool to see. Well, so it's a cool event, but like it was cool that it was part of the show, I guess.
Yes.
So I found that really good. I thought all the two actors that like the whatever I can't remember the names off my head, but whatever his name is. Yeah, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were great, and and I enjoyed the timey-wimey reveal. Like it was her all along, and the stars and all that. I liked it. I brought into it. So I quite enjoyed this episode.
Ciaran, what did you think of this week's episode?
I'm kind of torn on this episode. I think it is a good episode and I enjoyed it. I just think, once again, I feel like I have this comment for every episode 5 of recent Marvel shows. It's like, it's a real bold decision to have this kind of very heavy flashbacky episode as your episode 5 when you're getting to the point of, it's only 6 episode series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like next week is the last episode, so it almost felt like once the flashback stuff was over, everything beyond that started to feel very rushed. And I don't know if that's just a byproduct of them spending so much time and dedicating so much time to the discovery and the exploration of Kamala's past and her ancestry. But at the same time, it's just like in a 6 episode run, it's just a lot of time to dedicate to that, and then feels like a bit of a shortcoming for other parts of the story going forward. But overall, it was a good episode. It was nice to see more characters. I was a bit annoyed how right Dylan was last week after I was adamant that it wasn't going to be Kamala going back in time, and it was just some kind of vision.
These were both wrong, so...
I'm pretty sure I said, Kamala was the one who would use the bangle. You said, no, it's the little girl. She used the bangle.
I don't think I said that.
Yeah,
I thought you both. I thought you were both on agreement that it was some.
I thought Ashley was on my side, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I also.
I think I hedged my bets.
I think he's doing the whole. I'm the editor of the podcast. So I can make myself right if I want to make myself right.
Luckily, the podcast is released live. It's not like a pre-recorded one we release in a couple of weeks, so Ash could decide to change and re-edit it to make himself sound great. But no, I think, yeah, apart from those minor points, I think it's still a good episode and a good progression for the Miss Marvel story.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I think, yeah, it does definitely, the present day stuff feels very rushed. It kind of leaves the season at a weird point as well, where everything is kind of resolved.
I
you
guess they're setting it up for
there's
damage control.
there's him saving Kamran from damage control, but that's kind of it. That's the only tie that's not been resolved so far. The whole India petition thing was really cool. Like, as an episode of television, I don't think it's necessarily the most exciting thing for like a superhero TV show, young teenage drama. I don't know. I know how you would describe this show, but this is probably not what a lot of people are expecting.
That's probably why I like it so much.
Yeah, it's so different to everything else. So of course Dylan likes it.
Dylan's just becoming the new Nick of Explosion Network.
Yeah, anything normal I hate. Everything different.
Slightly different is the best.
Yeah. But yeah, we obviously get the romance between Aisha and Hassan. Like, I feel that's pretty, like, stock standard, you know? The runaway, you know, who falls for the guy who's, like, a very good talker and you know, who's nice to her. And she just happened to fall asleep in his garden. He wasn't like, hey, get the hell out of my garden. She's like, hey, eat food in my house. You know, classic.
Classic bit.
Classic bit.
Straight out of Disney.
Yeah. Very much a Disney princess tale. But yeah, you know, they build a life together. You know, but then at the actual turning point of petition, they're like, hey, I've been hiding this bangle this entire time. Not very well. It's been on me the entire time. But they haven't found me. It's not exactly clear why. Like, did she know that using the bangle would, like, ruin everything? I don't know. It makes no sense. Why was she running this entire time?
No, I assume she being, like, an actual, like, one of them fully understands the...
So you assume all of them know that this is going to probably fuck up everything here on Earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I presume they understand it's a risk within it, and they just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all cool. It's cool. Kamala, you know, came along, saved the little girl. You know?
Saved her grandmother.
Saved her grandmother. It all kind of ties together, you know? And even the little star things, because she fell over. The only reason she saw the stars is because she fell over.
Like a classic lineage.
Otherwise, she would have been talking about, like, jeweled circles. Jeweled circle steps.
And she brings back a photograph to show to her family members.
She gets to meet a
just like the Flash brought back to Bruce Wayne
grandmother for a
Flashpoint.
second. Okay, so Aisha brought her to the present to help save. That was the whole time thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Craziness.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we get all that.
So the bangle actually has time travel powers. Or her species, the Jinn, have time travel powers.
Yeah, potentially. So that's an interesting wrinkle that probably won't be addressed ever again.
No, that's a one-off. That's never happening ever again.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, you know, she wakes up from her time travel experience.
Then the writers go, oh shit, we got to do a whole bunch of stuff before the end of this episode. Go, 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 go.
But the thing is, they didn't need to.
No, they didn't need
a whole
to.
nother episode.
They didn't, but it's like, yeah.
So, turns out she opened the rift by accident, you know? And it proceeds to kill both the other, what's the group called?
Jinns.
Clandestines.
Clandestines.
Terrible name. The
clandestine.
worst, just terrible.
Just rips her out, like, you know, melts her, pretty much. And
I didn't actually think any of this felt rushed. Solely because they're there. They just had that fight in that last episode. she comes out. Like, how do you slow this down? Like, what needed to be
You would
slowed
just
down?
not have for them open the rift right there and then. You would have them as two separate events.
Like, I feel like there should have been like a bigger.
But it made sense that it happened there, like, because she.
Why?
Like, because they set off the event. Like,
and then it just seemed like a very random decision by the clandestine to sacrifice herself to kill it. Like, it was just a very. Like, there was no time to explain that change or to allow that character shift to happen. It was just very all of a sudden and a little bit too cookie cutter and perfect for character.
I will say there is that moment where she like says Kamran's name and then it cuts to him. He's got like some sort of power surge or something. That could be something bigger or more important.
Well, that's he punched the.
It could be her trying to possess her son's body.
Well, no, but she's just like given Kamran
all
powers.
positions.
Yeah, she gave him powers.
And
the reason she sacrifices herself is because Kamala talks her down and says that, like, points out the fact that if she does this, he could die. Like,
I know, it just felt like this didn't really.
Which I will agree is a very much like. She's like, oh fuck, I never thought of that. Like,
I was so focused on.
I was so focused, yeah. But the rift opening, I was like, no, that made sense. I didn't mind that.
The thing is, right, I would have been okay with the rift opening if it started causing other rifts to open around the world, or like it started something happening, and it wasn't just an instant fix. If this was the way we're going into the next episode, where Kamala's trying to fix the rift, and damage control is actually getting in the way of her doing that, and there is a culmination of damage control and the clandestines and the rifts, and that was all together for the end episode, I think that was fine. That would be great. Like, that would be well built and well timed, and there would be stakes, and like that we would have a sense of urgency for the last episode. Where
I don't know, because the how did this show start? Like, what was the first episode?
It was just a teen
What was the
drama.
first episode about? First episode was, yeah. I feel like you're talking about the clandestines as the main plot, when I don't think they ever really were. Like, they weren't introduced to what, third episode near the end of the second one? Like, was it the end of the second one? She shows up in a limo or whatever, and then we learn about him in the third episode. They've literally not been in like half the show. Like, I know that you could treat them as the main Marvel villain because that's the way we're so used to viewing things. But the show's first two episodes.
To be fair, none of these shows have had their villains be very.
No, yeah, that's true. But like the first two episodes of this 6-episode series were just about this young girl dealing with life, family, and getting powers. And I think hopefully the last episode is going to bring the tone and the scale back down to the way the series started. Because I feel like if it ended the way you're saying, like major stakes, all this sort of stuff, I'm like, that's just typical Marvel.
But
shit.
all it's going to end up is Kamala fighting against the damage control guys in an attempt to save Bruno and Kamran, and her having to make a choice between the two of them. That then she chooses Bruno, and then Kamran gets a fucking chip on his shoulder or whatever from it, and becomes some kind of nemesis with those powers.
Or it's going to end with her going to Comic-Con.
What?
I mean, MarvelCon, whatever they call it.
It's disappointing that the clandestines was such a throwaway character, considering they,
considering we spent an entire episode building them up as a serious threat, the stakes of whatever their plan was.
Yeah, and the last episode, episode 4, they full on killed somebody. Like, they killed like a mentor figure for Kamala, even though it was only for a short period of time. They killed a character. I was like, finally, these characters are being raised up to being a threat, to being something that we should be rooting for our hero against. And they were just nothing.
But, I mean, they killed another character this episode, so I mean...
Yeah.
So. And then they killed themselves.
Sacrificed themselves.
The death tallies...
It's even. They equaled themselves out, I guess. I don't know. Does it work like that? I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe.
I know, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so then it just so happens, Kamala's mum has been calling her, trying to find out where she is. She just finds out about Find My Phone, tracks Kamala down, and happens to see Kamala do all the stuff in this episode at the end.
I loved her reaction to the Find My Phone thing, where she was just like, and why am I just finding about this now?
Is this some kind of tracking software? Yes.
Yeah.
Why am I just finding it? Yeah. Yeah. So then this went surprisingly well. You know? She's like, hey, you're the little light girl. She's like super supportive. Which I'm fine. I guess I like.
It's because of her mother. Like I've you can see over the last couple episodes, her getting back in touch with her own mother and like growing that relationship. It sort of softened her up a bit. That's how I've taken it. You could see it over the last couple episodes.
Well, she directly tells you exactly what it is in the next scene.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been holding on too tight. I didn't realize what I had. You know. So I mean, it's that feels a little bit rushed as well, I feel. Because she outright says her feelings to everybody.
Yeah, am I the only person who... This might be jaded of me, I'm kind of over superheroes losing their secret identity far too easily to the people that they care about, and then it just kind of go too swimmingly. I get it, it's a trope that people have secret identities and they need to do everything to protect them and hide them, but I guess for me, I love that part of superhero stories.
You want them to be rejected more?
No,
just look out for Miss Marvel No Way Home.
Oh, you just want them to keep their secret identities
just to
for
keep
longer.
their secret identities longer. Like, it's in her first series as a character, and she's
been outed like 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. Like, there's no... It's just a very...
Why even wear a mask at this point?
Exactly, 100%. Why not just go as... Miss Marvel go as Kamala Khan? Like, just... Yeah, it is frustrating that there's just... They rush these moments too quickly. For me, I feel like maybe that's just the society we live in terms of movie making and stuff.
Don't her parents know in the comics though? Like, she's not secret to her parents.
Yeah, I think it's a known thing. So
yeah, that's what I thought. So
it's pretty hard for a teenager to keep the secret unless you're Peter Parker. So.
Yeah,
and that always works out well for him. So yeah. So obviously we get them all being happy together. Kamala says goodbye to Kareem. Yeah, that's his name.
Yep.
She gives him the red scarf, which will be part of her costume next episode, which I think, based on the foreshadowing in this, is something her mother's going to make for her. So that's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what that piece of jewelry is from. What... Was that
I don't know where that. I don't know where she got that. I don't know if it was a bracelet or a necklace or what.
She's been wearing this entire time.
The fact that her mum could pick up the piece of jewelry and be like, "This was Kamala's." Like it's just
in this like shack, this like small market.
This bizarre.
Could have had any amount of jewelry all over the place. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so then. You know, they're all super happy. We cut back to New York City. Bruno's out taking the trash. Kamran
literally, not figuratively.
Yeah, literally. Kamran comes up. He's like, hey, I need help, Brian. And then he's like, I do love the scene of him going, hey, can we start again? Hi, I'm Kamran. Hi, I'm Bruno.
Yeah, no, my favorite part was when he's trying to make small talk and he looks at the poster of Nikola Tesla and says, oh, you like cars too.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite element.
Yeah, that's my favorite element. Bro, what's yours? Like, it's the most like terrible small talk.
Yeah. But no, he generally believes his name was Brian, so I mean, there's that. And then, you know, we get damage control. Like, their drone shows up and blows up the shop underneath Bruno's place. And that's where Lily and the...
Prior to that, Kamran does use his powers to punch the drone.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Similar powers to...
So he has the same powers or similar powers to
Kamala.
Kamala, except for his is like...
green.
So another character that has the same powers as the protagonist, but color swapped. excellent.
Yes, which I did Google.
This is also gender swap, so that's pretty groundbreaking.
I Googled because I wasn't sure if this was he was an actual character in the comics. Google said, yes, he is. And that's pretty much like in the comics, his powers are the same as hers and different color. So, but of course, her powers are different in the comics than this, but they've just kept the same part that his powers are the same as hers in the comic.
Oh.
So,
how does he begin in a different color?
I don't know. Go look it up yourself.
All right. I guess
I won't tell you what else I read in case they follow the same path, but
okay.
I highly doubt they will because, I mean, the show's very different to the comics. But
yeah. So I guess next episode, like we said, it's just going to be them fighting off damage control. Yeah.
No.
It's a pretty clear.
That's what you think.
I feel like
but
this
you
is
have a bad track record.
Okay, what do you think is going to happen next episode?
I'm going to come back. There'll be a little bit of damage control like at the start of the episode towards the front end. And then the majority of the episode is going to be about getting that costume, having some chill moments, talking to Bruno, deciding about school life, where they're going to go. Is he going to explain that he never got into the school, all this sort of stuff. And then they're going to go on one last road trip together.
I would love that for that to be the case, but that's not going to be the case.
Well, I'm just saying your track record's pretty bad. So who's over here 1 for 1 and you're 0 for 1? So just saying.
Ciaran, what do you think is going to happen next?
I think Kamran and Bruno are going to get captured. That by damage control, Kamala's going to be somehow a bit kind of on the run or something from damage control, making her mother create her costume for her. Maybe the costume is actually a joint job between her grandmother and her mother. As inspiration, so it's like multiple generations.
Do you think grandmothers coming back to America?
Yes, I also do think the grandmother comes back to America with them, and then ultimately she has to choose between Kamran and Bruno, and she saves Bruno. Kamran somehow, as with all good potential friends turned enemies, will somehow twist the information that Kamala is responsible for his mother's death, and will then be like, I'll get you next time, Kamala Khan. And that'll be the end of the series, and we'll get him next series.
No, Carol Danvers just drops in on top of Cameron. It's like, hey, I need your help. That's how it ends. Yeah, I suspect, some form of that. I'm excited to go back to New York and New Jersey, and meeting up with the cast of characters we came to love over those first 3 episodes, who we never saw again except for Bruno in 5 minutes at the end of this episode. I feel like that's
brother again.
I feel like that's the main issue I have with this series. It's it feels very disjointed with the road trip to India, or Pakistan, I mean. Not that it wasn't good, but it just feels very disjointed in a 6-episode series. But yeah. Anything else you feel like we need to discuss before this comes to an end? Alright, let us know what you thought of this latest episode of Ms. Marvel by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvelcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars anywhere you can leave 5 stars. Or just tell people about the #1 Australian-made MCU podcast on the internet. And if you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Alright, make sure you watch next week's season finale of Ms. Marvel and join us next time for another All New Marvelcast.